Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be a little bit different than my other videos just because of the fact that this video is like me like plugging myself or promoting myself, but also like telling you my story. So since 2021, like December 2020, I've been in a really bad place like mentally. I feel like that's the worst it's ever gotten, and I would always journal before that when I would go through those things, and I would just journal. But I felt like journaling wasn't like the best outlet, at least for me, to like really just write everything down and make me feel better. Like it did help and it did make me feel better, but I was like, I want to do something a little bit more creative and a little bit quicker and to the point when I'm writing, because I do have carpal tunnel, so when I'm writing it would hurt writing all of that. So I decided to one day get, let me get it. One second. I decided to get this journal that I think my brother and my sister-in-law got for me when they went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It says Hufflepuff because I am a Hufflepuff. I think it was them or my friends. I'm not sure. So I think it was them. I decided to grab this journal and just start writing poems. And I kept writing and writing and writing. And I finally reached like 100 and something poems. There's like 104 I think, or 103 poems, something like that. And I remember I left it one time on my desk because I was typing them up because I wanted to make a book for myself just to have it in my poetry shelves, which is, you can't see it, but it's there. Just to have it for myself since I did all of this. And I was typing it up and I had it like with a little ribbon bookmark tabbed on a certain spot because that's where I was stopped to continue typing it up. And my brother opened it and read it, and he was like, oh, my brother opened it and read it and he said it was really good, and I was like, no, don't read it, just because this is like my deepest, darkest emotions in here. So yeah, but since he said it was good, and I was like, you know what, I don't lose anything with like putting it out there. I mean, it's rough because I'm putting out my deepest, darkest thoughts to the world, but I was like, F it, let's do it. So I decided to do a book, and it's called Will I Ever See the Stars Again? It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle KDP, so you can get it on Kindle Unlimited, or you can buy the Kindle edition of it, I guess, to have it on your Kindle. Paperback or a hardcover. I have not received a hardcover yet. The hardcovers looks different. It has just the stars because it wasn't working with this image, so I was like, okay, they'll be different. I haven't received it yet, but it is up. You can buy it. So I decided to do this book, and it's a very small book. I wanted it to be kind of small and like pocket size because this, you can take it anywhere. It's honestly even smaller than the journal I used to write it in, but I thought having it be like small would be nice because you could take this in your purse or anywhere, or have it in your car. So like maybe read one before work or school, or just at home on your nightstand. You could just read one every night, or you can read the whole thing in like about half an hour. It's really quick. They're short poems. It's only 100 and something poems, and it's a short little book. So in the book, it's like this. I did make the pages black with stars because it is called Will I Ever See the Stars Again? And I have a dedication and a disclaimer. In my disclaimer, I talk about how this is a book that's not like a masterpiece of poetry like Edgar Allan Poe or Sylvia Plath or Emily Dickinson or so many other people. So it's not one of those like classic masterpieces. It's more like my journal and what I've been through, more like newer, more contemporary poetry. So that's what it is. That's what's on the disclaimer. So it's not gonna be like rhyming and prose and all that stuff. It's not. It's basically my feelings, and I just wanted to release it to like have people feel less alone when they're going through like that darkness, because I know I can feel really alone. I have a great support system, but even then, like, nobody really understands you. I'm starting to get emotional while talking about it. Nobody really understands you, you know. They can be there for you and they can help you and all that stuff, but nobody really knows what you're going through other than yourself. And it's hard for people who don't experience anxiety or depression or any other mental health disorder to really understand you. and really know what your brain feels like. So I published the book on Kindle on Amazon, and I posted it on TikTok, and one of my coworkers saw it, and she didn't know I dealt with anxiety, and she read it, and she saw me the next day, and she hugged me, she started crying. She goes, "Thank you for putting that book out there, because I've always felt crazy. Nobody really understands me." She's like, you know, like I'm Hispanic, I'm Cuban. Most Cuban people are like, "Oh, anxiety, just go clean something," or whatever. So you really have to teach people. Like, I've taught my parents too how to talk to me, or the best way to help me when I'm in like the trenches. Just because for Cuban people it's like, "Oh, anxiety? What anxiety? Just go wash the dishes and you'll be fine." And it's just like, that's not how it works. If only washing the dishes would make it feel better, I'd be washing dishes all day every day. I'd be a dishwasher. Just saying. I'd really be doing that. That'd be my profession, just so I wouldn't have to deal with anxiety. But that's not how it works. So I do talk about like my mental health, being in the trenches, about weight, because my body has changed and that affected me too, and just a little bit of everything. I also included a little playlist here with like songs that like help me get through the darkness, or that I can relate to while in the darkness. There's obviously so many more, but I put like the core ones. The first one is Cough Syrup by Young the Giant. I also really like the Glee version, so I can listen to either or listen to them back to back and I would still love it. I could listen to the song on repeat. And honestly, that song was one of the most pivotal plot points for this book, because it's one of the poems in here. But in 2021 was like honestly one of the hardest years of my life, mentally wise. Like, I was not in a good place, not good at all. So I was in a dark place, and I remember at the end of 2021, I'm about to cry. I was in an airplane on the way back. Well, the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, because we went for New Year's to Washington, D.C. I was on the way back with my family from Washington, D.C. I couldn't enjoy the trip because of my anxiety. It was really hard. So we were on the airplane, we're on the way back. It was nighttime, and everybody on the airplane was asleep. All the lights were off. It was pitch black. And I always get the window seat because I get dizzy, so I just put literally my forehead against the window and stare out to help me feel better. So I was there and I was looking out, and it was all so dark, and I remember saying, "God, please let this year bring more light," because I was just tired of that darkness. So that's what I said. And mind you, everything was dark. I couldn't see anything, and I looked down, and I'm just looking down, and then I look down again. I look away to see if my family was still sleeping, because I was listening to Cough Syrup on repeat, holding back tears like I am right now. Like I said, a very pivotal point. And I looked down. You know how the song says, "Life's too short to even care at all. I'm losing my mind, losing control." That's where I was. So I was looking down, and I saw like one of those like little floating lighthouses with just the light, and I was like, "Oh my God, like, thank you, God, like this is a sign." And then I look up, I'm looking down at the ocean, and it's a sky full of stars. So that's where I got "Will I Ever See the Stars Again?" And this is kind of like the light from the lighthouse. That's how I got that name. So that's why that's the #1 song in here, because it was the beginning of feeling better. I did progressively get better, and I got over that like big trauma that I had of 2021. Obviously, I still kept getting anxiety. Anxiety did not go away, but there was more light in 2022, because 2021 was like complete darkness, other than the fact that like my niece Abby was born, and Emma, my other niece, turned 1. Those were the highlights of 2021. So then we have "Sign of the Times" by Harry Styles. It's my favorite Harry Styles song ever, and I just feel like it's such a good song to scream and cry to when you're in the car driving. Do it. Then we have "Fine Line" by Harry Styles. "We'll be a fine line, we'll be alright." That always helps me, because you know, we will be alright, even though it doesn't feel like it in that moment. We will, I promise. Then we have "Dancing Through Life" from Wicked. Life's more painless for the brainless and stuff like that. And you just have to keep dancing through life and try not to think about it too much, which is very hard when you're someone like me that just overthinks about the future. And most things don't end up happening, thank God, but I am an overthinker. So then we have "Zombie" by Day6, which is, I feel like I became a zombie, not alive but I'm still walking kind of thing. Like, it's just like you're going through the phases, like muscle memory, but like you're not there. Then I have "Buenos Dias, Señor Sol" by Juan Gabriel. It's a Spanish song which is basically saying good morning Mr. Sun, good morning to happiness and stuff like that. That's what the song says. And some of this, when I'm in the trenches, I have to put it on to remind me that like there's happiness out there, you know. Then I have TV by Billie Eilish because I love playing that song and just crying. Skinny by Billie Eilish. I wrote a couple of poems while I was listening to that song, bawling my eyes out in this room. Then we have What I Was Made For by Billie Eilish. Chaotic by Tate McRae. That was my 2021 anthem. When she goes, it looks like you've been going through hell. How could you know? How could you tell? And then it says, maybe I'm just making all this shit up in my head. And I am, you know what I mean? Then we have Peter by Taylor Swift. I hate it here because I hate it here. So I try to make up scenarios and stuff like that, or read books to just go away from it, you know. Let the Light In by Lana Del Rey because we're trying to let that light in. And then Mum by Luke Hemmings because it's basically about him being very much in the trenches and trying to get out of it. So I'm gonna read you guys one poem. A lot of people of my friends and stuff that have read it, they like Sinking Ship, so I'm gonna read that one to you guys and just leave it out there if you guys want to read it. It could be on Kindle Unlimited if you have it, if you want to support me, or just read it. And if you do read it, please leave a review on Goodreads and Amazon. I'd really appreciate it. And honestly, hopefully it makes you feel less alone. That's like I put at the end. I hope this helped you feel seen. I hope this helped you heal. Yeah. So Sinking Ship. It's so weird reading my poem out loud or having people read it, just because, like I said, I was really going through it. But we have Sinking Ship, and I'm on a ship in the middle of a storm. The boat is constantly rocking and swaying. I can't seem to find my footing. When things feel like they are stabilizing, a wave comes crashing in and creates a crack. Through the crack, water seeps in and slowly but surely starts sinking the boat. I try to patch it up to keep it afloat, but no matter what I do or how hard I try to stop the water from coming in, another wave comes and destroys all the progress. Should I let the ship sink, or should I keep patching up the cracks? So it's like when you're kind of fixing your mental health, something else, like my anxiety or whatever, something else happens, it just triggers, and it's just like all the work I did was for nothing. So like I said, I was in a very red place. So I was like, should I let it sink or should I keep patching up the cracks? I obviously continue to keep patching up the cracks, but sometimes you just want to let the boat sink. And another one that a lot of people related to, I don't even know where it is, was one about me talking about basically how I have like thoughts, like dark thoughts, and it's just like, I know I want to be here. Okay, I think it's this one. I know I shouldn't think this way, but when my brain is overcome with anxiety, I can't help but think how death is easier. Why do I do this if I don't really want to die? So that's another one that people that have read it have related to. And it sucks that people relate to that because it's not fun. But this is my book. These are my emotions, my feelings, my heart, my soul, which I give to you. That if you can relate, I'm so sorry that you can, but you're not alone, and we're out there, and we're gonna make it. We're gonna get through it. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching the video. It's called Will I Ever See the Stars Again? I'll leave the link down below if you guys want to look at it, purchase it, read it on Kindle Unlimited. Anyway, helps, and if you could leave a review afterwards, I would really appreciate it. My goal is to eventually, maybe if I have a couple of reviews on Goodreads and stuff like that, maybe find an agent to get it traditionally published so that it could be in libraries and stuff like that. For me, the point is not even just the money, it's being able to have it be accessible to people, like in libraries where you can rent it, because I know not everyone can afford to buy a book. I do want to get a couple of these and put it in like little free libraries, just because I want people who are going through it to feel seen and feel heard and feel less alone, because you're not alone. There's a lot of us. So if you guys could really help me out by like reading it and how do you call this, and leaving reviews, it really help. I really do want to get it traditionally published so it could be in the libraries, the library websites, like on the apps and stuff like that, because I know not everybody has Kindle Unlimited and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys read it and love it. And yeah, this is my little treasure, my little work of art. I do want to continue writing poetry, as I want to write a children's book too about anxiety, because I know children experience anxiety too. I always had it. I didn't know it was that, and now I know, and I would love to write a book about that for kids who have it and feel like they don't know what's going on. Yeah, so I hope you guys read it, love it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.